Where's the remote? Found it.
Turn off the lights.
All right.
Did you grab the drinks?
Yeah, I got them.
Okay, I'm making the popcorn.
It's starting. Come on.
All right. Okay, I'm here. Hit the button. Hi, I'm Jill.
And I'm Gianna.
And welcome to the We Watch It All podcast,
where we watch it all and give you our opinions.
AKA the opinions no one ever asked for.
And this is the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, part two. Second to last, which I still listen. Oh, we have to give an announcement as well because this has been done. We've mentioned in our other videos, and in the other videos we also said we don't know what you watch. Maybe you just watch Beverly Hills. You don't watch any of our other ones.
Didn't we make an announcement in the original Beverly?
In the main, no. That we were still up and good in that one. So our podcast laptop, where we put our videos and record, has decided it wants a break. I don't know why it would say that.
Yeah, so we basically just have to
use your laptop.
Yeah, we're doing makeshift. Yeah. So it's not going to be top notch. It's not going to be what she thinks is important. It is, the way it should be. So
yeah,
you probably won't notice a bloody thing, but if you do, that's the reasoning. So
yeah. Also, you may notice there's no YouTube to this version.
For right now.
That's because the same laptop I had my editing software on there. I don't have it on these other two, so we cannot make the YouTube versions as of now. But once it gets back up and running, because it will, I will beat it to a pulp until it gets back up on its feet. If it doesn't,
no joke.
I'm not kidding. Then we will spam all the videos that we had missed onto YouTube, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. For now, and Instagram also, there's going to be no more little preview clips. So sad, because those are always my favorite to do. So now you're just going to have to listen to the whole thing and find the funny part, basically. Sorry. All right. Now we can cover the reunion. I think that was it, right?
Yeah.
That was it. All right. So the reunion picks up instantly back from Garcelle and Diana fighting last week, which I don't know why, but I thought it ended with that. Like, I thought they ended that segment last week.
No, after as you see it go on, there clearly was more to that than I guess
what they had left with it, which was also they were just finishing Diana's screen time because I don't think she's coming back, especially if Kathy's next episode. Like I think the next episode is gonna be just Kathy, and I think Diana's gone, which I think the screen time she had in the reunion was about the same that she had all season. Sadly.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot, but it kind of picked up with them debating over who called Diana what names, and it's funny because she was still picking on like Garcelle when it was stuff that Sutton had said about her, and they're listen, I get it. I don't want anybody calling me a name either, but they're like. There comes a point where they're nitpicking at like the most silliest.
Well, yeah,
things.
She's like evil is worse than the C word.
Yeah, who called you soulless? And I mean, it's just like I don't even know if I like soulless. Like, do I have like what does that mean to be soulless? Like you have no soul, like you're no compassion. I don't know. Like to me, it's like you're digging deep into something that's
Andy asked Sutton if there's anything she wanted to say on the topic of since Diana's there.
Yeah,
and she just says and I don't really remember. I don't think Sutton said anything really. Like nothing. Like Sutton said.
She said they're clearly not going to be friends.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the way it's going to be. And
then Diana's like, well, you know what's really hurting me? What Garcelle said. And Garcelle was just like, this wasn't about us just now. We just moved on to a whole other topic. And she brought it right back to her, which is true because like Garcelle literally did say like, Diana's obsessed with me, and she kind of just proved it because like they're all like, okay, let's talk about.
She brought it right back.
And she's like, no, back to her, and she's like, nobody would go against her sweetheart son, or she would never, or nobody would be able to go against her sweetheart son, or whatever. And I told you when we were watching, it sounded like she called Jack, and then Jacobson or something like
Jackson,
Jackson or something. I was like, huh? I was like, is she called? I was like. Either it was just like her accent that made it sound like that because I know in the beginning it sounded like she said Jack, so I don't know if she just went off script and forgot the kid's name for a second.
I mean, she could have got herself like all like
Flustered.
flustered. Yeah, because I mean they were coming at her, and you keep thinking that she was reading off the cue cards, which she could have been because some of the stuff she
I
was
mean,
saying.
definitely last episode, I think she was.
Yeah, some of the stuff she was saying, I mean, she could have wanted to make sure she said the right things. So she, I mean, like I would make a note, just like we do here. I want to make sure that I'm covering
Yeah.
all the points. So I might have not necessarily a cue card, but something written so that like when they ask me certain things, I am like hitting each topic and hitting each point and all like
Well,
that
yeah, the
because
one that I was really where this episode I feel like she was when she talked about
the lawyers and
the
stuff.
lawsuit that she filed
Yeah.
against John Doe, and her lawyers are going to look into it.
Andy was like, "Well, how do you file a lawsuit against nobody when you don't know who it is?" And they said we file it as a John Doe lawsuit while they're trying to figure out who it is, so that you have, I guess, you have it on the record like that.
Yeah,
You're looking. But she said her lawyers are going to get to the bottom of the situation, and that she's fortunate because she has money and that's her privilege. So,
and that's what she's going to use it for.
yeah, and that's what she's going to use. But I mean, look, knock yourself out. Try to find who it is. If
Yeah.
you can find it legitimately, go ahead because it's not going to be easy probably to figure it out. There's probably a lot of backtrack. I mean, you probably can, but who's this? It's probably some random person. I honestly don't think it's any of those women on that stage. Not even
No.
Diana. I don't even think. I think if she was going to come for Garcelle, she would just keep coming for her. She wouldn't attack her children.
Son.
Yeah, no, I don't think she would because she knows that's just going to make her look. She can't be that naive. She's naive about a lot of stuff, but you can't be that naive that thinking attacking
The
someone's
only thing I could
child.
think if you were like, okay, how's it related to one of these housewives, is the publicist, especially since we saw what Erica's publicist did.
Yeah.
But you don't like Diana's publicist is so new to this, not like new to this world, or like her team is new to the housewife world. Where would they know to come right in and try to do this?
I don't know, but again, I don't think anybody would do like go for
This.
children. Like I think they'd try to find something on Garcelle that or something like that. Like I don't think they'd come for children because I think
I think these were just housewife fans.
Yeah, I think this was housewife fans that have no regard for anything. Oh Jesus, sorry.
Could you please?
I know, no regard.
I can see who sent that email because it popped up on your computer over here, by the way, and I know it was not important.
No, it wasn't important.
And Garcelle basically told her that's good for her. And something about like I forgot something clearly because I was like, Garcelle says there's a difference that she's. Oh, I think Andy asked them like, I don't even know what was going on. I just said that Garcelle said there was a difference of that Diana's putting stuff on social media about her.
Oh yeah, no, she said that she keeps putting
forgot some context.
She keeps
there.
putting stuff on social media about Garcelle when if she's not obsessed with her and she doesn't want to bother with her and she doesn't want to do any of that, then why are you still? Because there was other stuff that she put on there about her that she was like, why are you still addressing me? Like I don't understand. Like I have nothing, and clearly Garcelle has nothing to do with her. She wants nothing to do with her because we watched a couple of Bravo.
Well, even in this one, she said, Andy asks, like, what was Diana putting on social media about her? And Garcelle says she doesn't even want to speak on Diana anymore at this point.
Yeah, but, I mean, and that's what she did on the BravoCon. Like, Andy would ask her questions, and she'd say stuff about, like...
I'm not going to name names.
And she said, I'm not naming names. And she said a couple of times when he asked her certain things, like, I'm not talking about her. I'm not saying anything about her. And he asked her something else, and she said something about... she licked her lips.
Oh, it was the question to Sutton. I think it was like either what was Sutton the most fault for or what fight was Sutton not at fault for. And I think it was between Rinna, Erica, and Diana, and she licked her lips.
Yeah. So, I mean, she's clearly over her. And so is Sutton, apparently, because Sutton, when they asked her, Sutton said she doesn't have a relationship with Diana, nor will she, and she has nothing to say to her or about her. So,
yeah.
Clearly,
they're both not coming back.
Yeah, oh no, she's not. And then like that was basically the end. They said goodbye to her, and she was off and running. So I mean, it was weird because, like, I know you said how I wrote my stuff out by people, but it was not that hard to do because they kind of like focused on certain people, and the only time they diverted is if somebody jumped in, like Crystal would jump in randomly and like make a comment and somehow bring it back to her and her nonsense. So like that was, but.
Yeah, and they end up after this, they take a lunch break. Yeah. Which, what's so weird is the stuff that we saw in episode 1 to now didn't feel like it would take hours to shoot, but I guess it did long enough that they need lunch. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, before lunch, they didn't talk about the bromance between Mo and
No, that's after
right
lunch.
after lunch. Oh yeah.
But what was so funny is they're eating lunch, and like you could see Kyle has like a, because they break off into groups. They do Garcelle, Sutton, Dorit and Kyle, and then Erica and Rinna. And like Kyle has like, one of those styrofoam like takeout containers.
And Crystal's nowhere to be found.
I guess no one wanted to speak with Crystal.
Well, because they were talking about
Crystal. Were talking about Crystal too. But Rinna just had like a granola bar. That's what she was having for lunch, or not like a. Yeah, I think it's like a granola bar, like one of those like.
Well,
makes I was sense just like, I just thought it was funny that like that she was just having that. I don't even know if Erica had. Maybe they had something before they came in, or I don't know when this was.
Maybe they were still waiting for it to show up.
Yeah, because Kyle, I was like, Kyle has a full takeout. She just had a little granola bar. But
to read too, they had like salads or something.
Yeah, they
salads
had like takeouts.
So maybe their food came first or something. Who knows? But I think it's funny because that's what I was saying to you back in the day. I remember when I used to watch it. They when they'd go on break, there was nothing. No, once in a blue moon, they'd show them in those back rooms talking like in between the breaks, but it was never more than like a few seconds. Like not like this, like where this was like literally part of the reunion. The reunion was like them showing them on their lunch break.
Past seasons when a producer would walk in and be like, damn, you
they were just talking about the conversation that we just got them. Like you think they keep the mics running for a certain degree for them to go back and like reassess privately what's going on, so that like
because you never know both of them like what they could have missed in like let's just say last year, like something that like someone said something like, damn, that would have been good to get.
I mean, because they all went back and started talking about like Sutton and Garcelle were talking about like how does it feel to finally hear like her, because for us it was like weird because the Crystal thing was over. Yeah. And like they started it up with Diana, but they were still, because it is one day, they were still all reeling from Crystal. Like this was their first break since Crystal talked. Like, and they were all like, how do you feel like to be able to be like,
to know cleared, that
yeah. And like not have not have them being like talk about it or whatever. Like
and Sutton was like, it's nice to actually have these girls back me up. But here's my thing. Now that I think on it, it's like, were they backing you up or were they just going against Crystal? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think they were going against Crystal.
Yeah, like I don't feel like they were trying to back Sutton up. I just think they realized they have a common enemy right now, so let's go against her.
I don't think anybody was like really.
Oh yeah, let's go against her for Sutton. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they were doing that either. I think they were just, because then you have
Dorit
and Kyle talking about Crystal and that, how she was making stuff up and like bumbling her words, and it just, I guess they were like, she doesn't get what we're trying to say, which I still don't think Crystal truly does. Like Crystal still goes on further like in the thing to like be it's my feeling or it's my whatever, and they're like, no, you still can't equate that to the same thing. It's not right.
Well, like if you're talking about the code situation, yes, that's your feeling, but then like you'll see once they come back to this, like they get confused, and it's like you're talking about two different conversations at this point, where it's like I think this Crystal situation, because it all kind of, it's like it links in a sense back to that one night with the coat and everything. It's all like confused because it's like some people are talking about, she's like talking about the code, some people are talking about the dark comment, and it's like you don't really know what they're talking about, so they all just get jumbled up because it is all on one night that all happened. So it's like kind of confusing. But literally after that thing, they cut right to commercial. I'm like, commercial already? We were only like 7 minutes in because it just didn't feel like it should be commercial, because like we picked up from the same exact fight that we ended with last week, and then they just started talking. So it was like, I was like, God, a commercial already. It threw me off. And then they come back, and then this is the part where they do a little like recap on like Kyle's season. And I think she says that her daughter's going to the wedding in La Quinta, and she's got to do it bigger than Portia's birthday because
but the daughter doesn't want that. So I think that's like, I know she's not going to listen to what the daughter wants, which is really sad, but the daughter doesn't seem to want a big wedding. But Kyle, she's probably going to make it happen. So, and if I was the daughter, I'd go along with it, man.
Why not?
Let her pay for it.
And then they talk about like Dorit being with Mauricio, and then Mauricio being with PK, and that they all are like switching around.
One big relationship together, which I think they're all just good friends, and they're just, because I can't see anybody being with PK except for Dorit, which.
Well, now he got his fancy new teeth.
That's true. That but he's still got that hair, so it don't matter. I don't like his hair. I just
and then they go over the whole about picking who PK and Mauricio had picked,
which we said did in the whole thing we thought was bizarre too. Like it was a weird thing.
Which now
but I
looking
think
back,
it's very much what husbands would do if they were at a party.
No, but you know what's
sadly.
so funny is when they replayed the clip where Mauricio said Rena and PK said Erica. When Mauricio goes at and they say the answer, he goes, "Oh, Rena." PK says, like, "Oh, like you didn't pick Erica."
Yeah, he's.
Which even if he thought Erica, I wouldn't have picked Erica in his eyes because the whole panty situation.
Yeah, but he did.
Yeah,
he did. But I can understand why people were like, well, but again, people read into too much because I watched the episode where the reason they're really going after them, saying that there was something going on with them was the way Dorit,
like, they showed that with the hug.
Yeah, she did a hug and then she like kissed his arm or something weird.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, she like as she hugged him, like she backed and she kissed, but it's like I don't even know if she knew who she was kissing, to be honest with you,
like,
because
it was kind of like in such a time of like
crazy. Yeah, she was not right. I think she was just so, and to me that feels like very much like Dorit. Like I think she would do that to anybody. Like I don't even think she thinks of.
No,
like who they are, and that
because Dorit was always
very motherly. Like
when the COVID stuff, Dorit always like, "Oh, I'm such a hugger. I'm such a hugger."
I think it's just.
So I think it's just Dorit. I think Dorit's just like a huggy person.
I don't think it was even meant for them. I think it was more for herself. Like you know what I mean? Like in a weird way, like how she says she is. Yeah, but I could see where people, oh my god, this is what it's called. People, you're overwatching.
Eric Voss.
Overwatching and looking. There's no Easter eggs here. This is real life. Like you're not going to see like, oh, I mean, yes, I wouldn't call it an Easter egg. You might call it a slip up that you could where somebody would like see something that they didn't necessarily mean for them to see.
The only Easter eggs you're going to find is a tequila in the background of somebody's and Angels by Ramona. Those are the only kind of product placements is actually what you're going to find. They're not even Easter eggs. They're product placements. And then they do a little recap on Garcelle's season.
Yeah.
And they talk about how it is owning her Birkin. And she said she paid $13,000 for it. And Sutton says that she doesn't think she got a good deal at all.
Yeah, because that's what Andy was like, did you think you had a good deal? And I was like, and she's like, no, I told her we should have went to Paris. As if like what? I mean, maybe they're cheaper over there because it is Europe. I have no idea. I didn't think it was a European. I don't know. I didn't think it was a European bag. I thought the lady that was here, Jane Birkin, was like, an American. I could be wrong. I don't have a Birkin, know nothing about them. I don't even like the look of the purse, to be honest with you. It's not my type of bag.
Let's just say we went to Walmart and we were looking at $20 bags and we said, no, thank you.
I don't. But that's not, I don't know. That's not my kind of bag. I just don't like the shape of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kyle said she thought she got a good deal. But maybe what Sutton meant was like for another few $1,000s, you could get a Birkin that's a new one.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's what she meant. Like instead of buying.
But here's the thing. If these are vintage ones, you already know they have high value to them.
Yeah, they should.
So you know that their value should keep increasing. You don't know if this season's Birkin stuff is going to, be the same. I guess. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, they were talking about how she got the Birkin, how she wrote a book. She bought a beach home. She had a very big year this year.
Yeah, she said the beach home is officially knocked down, but that's as far as they got because of the permits.
Well, permits and materials are obviously a thing.
Which we all materials know. Now everything, COVID too.
Everything's more expensive, but she does talk about like how she wrote in her book about the Bill Cosby, which was interesting. Stuff, She was obviously yet another one that was involved with Bill Cosby, but she got out before anything obviously could happen. But it just goes to show you there are clearly more people in the woodwork that are not speaking about him, which is so baffling to me because he was such like a
little Bill.
Yeah, I mean, he was just such a home, like a family orientated looking persona and not at all in that way. So you gotta be careful of those, I guess. They, I don't know. That's just, but
and then because of the book, they discussed the whole book being thrown out thing. And Andy asked Erica if she had even read the book before she put it in the trash.
Did she read it, skim it for mentions of herself?
And Rena confesses that she's the one that put it in the trash.
Everybody's face was priceless.
I didn't know that because nobody knew that. I think this is the first time that they ever revealed this, right?
They said it was because that's what's his name said. Andy, I think, was talking to her after. Like, they were all shocked. And she said Erica is obviously a good friend. She took the brunt of this and kept it to herself. And never said anything about it. So she definitely
well,
Which again, like here, this is what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong. I just posted something about Los Angeles becoming. I don't know if you saw about becoming like part of the plant-based treaty that they have, but I know Los Angeles is very eco-conscious and all like that kind of stuff. And they looked at the picture, and instead of like seeing Garcelle's book, they looked at all the
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I told you, I go, what the hell is the phone doing in the trash?
Well, the phone, yes.
But you know what the phone looks like? It doesn't, like, the thing that caught my eye about the phone, it's not just like an old phone that you have.
Looks like an office phone.
Yeah, no, it looks like a hospital phone, like for like an old person in a hospital, because it looked like the buttons were like huge.
For they were old school phones, but
it was just like,
that's how they were. But yeah, they were like,
they were picking on the recycling
and stuff. And that's when Lisa said, yeah, the funny thing is though, Lisa's like, I felt really bad for her, but you still didn't speak up. You still let her take the brunt of it until just now at the reunion, which why all of a sudden did you come clean? You know, because I guess they wanted Erica to speak on it. But
Rinna says that she put it there because Garcelle had mentioned Amelia, or the conversation that happened in the past season, and Garcelle said she got reached out to by Rinna's lawyers, and she did take it, or well, like a week before that the book was going to come out, Garcelle took it out, and they released a second edition. So I don't know if it's technically still out there that you could get this for. Is that something making noise?
What?
I thought one of your. Is that your? No, it sounded like the computer over there. Your work computer is making noise.
Maybe I got an email, but I don't think so.
I don't know. Sorry, had a little bit of a moment there. Mm-hmm. And she said, Garcelle said she'd also remove it from the book. So, I mean, I don't know if they did the whole throwing out the book in the trash before they reached out, but it's like, she did say she'll take it out. She removed it from the audiobook, so it's not like she didn't do anything about it. And then Rinna also says that Erica got it because they sent it in a group chat that Garcelle must not be in. And Erica said that she did it because of Garcelle's caption that she posted on Instagram. And Garcelle shares also that the son Oliver is still working for Vanderpump, and they actually filmed together. So
I don't understand what the big deal with that is. Like, I mean,
she wasn't on that season at all, right?
So like, she doesn't know that, and she may not know the extent of whatever they're pissed at.
Not everybody watches Bravo before they join.
No, but here's the thing: I don't think that Lisa Vanderpump did anything so traumatically tragic to these people that like they should be like out with you. And the way they were reacting when she told them her son got the job, like
I mean, I'm sure they're being like a little dramatic and doing it for fun.
I thought they were like kidding, but they all like were throwing down on the floor. Yeah. Like, I mean, first of all, it's her son, and then she said she filmed with her. So what? She filmed with her. I mean, like, I don't.
Which you watch Vanderpump Rules, so you'll have to tell us. Yeah,
not everybody fights everybody's battle. I mean, like, it's
not, especially if she wasn't there that season. If she was there that season,
saying. If you don't even know what it was. Which, to be honest with you, at this point, I don't even remember why all of them are pissed at her.
I don't know. It started with the dog.
Yeah, well, I think that's was Dorit's thing.
I think Kyle got involved with that.
Yeah,
it's like, if we can't remember, how do they all remember all this drama to pull back from?
Clearly, we know they don't, because when we were watching BravoCon, he had squashed that beef on where two people would come up and they would squash. Yes. Well, 90% of them did not remember what the beef was.
They were also, but they were
some of them were shocked they had
franchise ones.
Yes,
so
some of them still,
you're not going to remember that.
But some of them were still shocked they even were on there saying they had beef with people because they didn't even recall something being said.
Some of them were though, like I think the ones that they didn't know about was more like people who were like let's just say you said something about the show that I'm on, and if I just don't pay attention or I don't notice it, then I'm going to miss it, so I'm not going to have beef with you. But I guess I just assume if they said it, they said it. And then they call cut, and they continue talking about how Erica took the fall. And Garcelle looks so annoyed that, like, no one's getting, like... they still threw out my book. That was
my thing. Like, Garcelle's facial expressions were, like... all throughout this episode was just like so bizarre, because even when like there wasn't, sadly this particular time, Crystal didn't have much to say, Sutton didn't have much to say. They did.
Am I going crazy?
I don't hear anything.
All right, so I'm going crazy.
So, that's that.
That's not what I'm hearing.
So Crystal didn't have much to say, and Sutton didn't have too much. She had that little snippet where they kind of discussed a little bit of her things, but like Dorit was really not even there. Like, she would interject a little bit, so they didn't really touch on her. Like, that's what like was weird. Like, they kind of really focused on certain, and Garcelle was very like focused on in both of the episodes. Like,
but I think that's why they did that. I think they set it up so now, like, when it comes time next week, it's just gonna be Kyle, Rinna, Erica, and Kathy. Like, I think that's what I think they were trying to like fill all these people up. Like I think Crystal was supposed to be like the first episode with Dorit, and now this was just getting Kyle's little thing, and Garcelle's like, not that Sun didn't have much to do, but they haven't talked about the Elton John thing, and I guess they're just not,
Yeah, I think that's.
But there's nowhere to really go with that.
I think they're just over that one for now.
I mean, they do kind of talk on it, but not like I thought they were gonna make it more of a big, a big thing, but guess not. And then when they come back, they do a little montage of Lois. But my favorite thing is it's like this really sweet montage, in memory of Lois, and then they cut to Rinna literally losing her mind on Garcelle at the Brenna tasting. It was like they didn't even try to transition to like a slow, like, oh, she's losing it a little bit. No, it was just straight jump, go one.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And Rinna did say that maybe she thinks that it was probably she should have taken like a little time off from the show.
But, everybody is posting stuff about that. Like, I just saw something with Denise that Denise made a comment after watching the reunion. Like, I don't understand how she can say that this is the reason that she was so obnoxious and so rude and so this and that. What was her reasoning for all the other years?
Because that was what a fan had said, that it seemed like she was using her mom's death as like an scapegoat. And the fan said, well, what's your excuse with Vanderpump, Denise, and Kim Richards? And she literally just kind of ignores it. She doesn't address it at all when you really think about it. She goes, well, yeah, maybe, it was rough this season. And she, of course, skims right over that because she's not going to talk about it because she knows she has no real reason. This is just who she is. She's kind of nasty a little bit. So, yeah. All right, so then they do a montage of Sutton, and it starts to, they kind of timeline it out back to with the Watch What Happens Live, and then they go to the Dorit and all those comments, which, oh my God, look at this laptop. It's like shedding on my hand.
What is that?
The like rim around the screen.
Okay, we'll stop at sweaty hands.
It's like almost like dry rotting off onto my hand.
Okay,
sorry.
Yeah, we get so sidetracked.
But what's interesting is they put the actual like date when the episodes were filmed, and the Dorit break-in comment was like October 20th. So they should probably start filming the new season soon.
Yeah.
So that's exciting a little bit.
They just do a whole rundown of all Sutton's missteps and misspokes, and and she did admit that what she said about Dorit was like the worst thing that she has ever said, and that she regrets it wholeheartedly, and she apologized to Dorit and said, I don't know what I was thinking, and I'm not even going to make up excuses. And Dorit, I have to give her credit. She
said she needed that.
Yeah, she needed that. She accepts it. She will take people's apologies. That's one thing I will say with Dorit. If someone apologizes and she feels like it's like genuine, like she will take that genuine apology and she will go with it. And well,
I think here's the thing though. I think Dorit isn't in that many fights where like that, like, where like some of them are constantly always in fights where they're kind of constantly getting apologized to.
Yeah, I think
when so like I wonder if those, you can't just like if it's just like if you're kind of only getting like one fight per season or two fights, it's kind of easier for them to be like, sorry, okay, move on. Where it's like Rinna's in constant fights where it's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, she's saying I'm sorry to everybody all the time. So
it's like how often is she really being genuine about it, I guess you could say. And then they also bring up that Kyle pushed Sutton around when she was doing that. I did not notice that when that happened.
Oh, I did. I saw that, and I was like, "What the hell is she doing?" When we were watching that, I remember seeing that going.
I mean, kind of, but like when they re-showed it, I was like, "Wow, she was like really grabbing her, pushing her around."
Big deal. That's why they brought it up. She made a huge deal when Brandy pushed her, and I mean, she kind of she pushed her, whatever, but she like grabbed Sutton and like made her like turn and like in
manhandling her.
She was really manhandling her. So I
like,
agree.
I think the Brandy thing,
you don't put your hands on anybody.
I think the Brandy push was more dramatic than it actually was. I think Brandy just gave her like a shove, and I think Kyle like lost her balance because there was like the little steps.
Was Kyle was kind of coming at her too. Like when you watch it,
like they were both fighting equally.
Yeah, you see Kyle,
and she was taking her sister from her.
Yeah, she was coming at her. Where like Sutton was talking to Diana and facing Diana, and she made her physically turn to Kyle. So she wasn't even expecting this, and like it wasn't her fight to be involved in with anyway. Like at least the Brandy Kyle thing was
sister.
But they were in a fight together.
No, I know. Like
it was
a whole big thing that season.
Yeah, like she had no business being involved in this. Like So why she did that, yeah, it's. I mean, she said she called and apologized. Yeah. Again, she's another one that's becoming, high on the apology tours. So.
Well, I think pretty much everything that night, Kyle has taken back and said, yeah, I wouldn't have done that again if I wasn't so drunk. Yeah. But, that's your true self when you're drunk, so I don't know.
And of course, they touch on the the miscarriages and all like that, and that, which I thought was just really mean of her. Like, it's okay, guys.
Motorcades.
It's okay. Everybody relax. You're in here. Squeaky, go
well,
back to
I think
sleep.
what happened was, I think Andy asked them if they think that when Sutton brings something up, is she trying to empathize or trying to make it about herself? And Dorit straight up, did you see Dorit sneak that in there?
No.
Dorit says, yeah, her bringing up her miscarriage was about her making it about herself, not trying to
relate. I don't think it is. I think it's just how she knows how to empathize. Yeah, I don't think she.
I mean, Garcelle did say sometimes I think she's making about herself, which I'm sure there are ones, but for the most part, when it's something traumatic or serious, I think it's like.
I think is that when you do mention something like that, yes, it is about you that you're bringing. Now you are bringing yourself up, so it is about you in a certain respect. But do I think you're trying to turn the conversation away from the other person? No. You're trying to say, like, I keep talking, like, I can understand what you're saying. So you're not talking to someone that doesn't understand what you're saying. Like, I don't know. I've never seen somebody that when I speak to somebody about like a parent.
Okay, Cooper.
Like about a parent dying. I've had a lot of coworkers that recently have had like a parent die when they're fairly young. And if I say to them, "Oh, I know how you feel. I've been in that same situation." None of them get mad at me. They actually look relieved that somebody gets what they're trying to say or something. So I don't understand why these people took it that way.
I think it's probably producers being like, damn, Ralph, she's really trying to make this all about herself or something. Like, like normal people in real life don't have somebody coming whispering in their ear trying to stir up drama. Like, literally almost all housewives have the devil on their shoulder, basically. There's no angel trying to be like,
I mean, I get it.
They're being nice.
But here's the thing too. Like, I was thinking, like, I could understand if it was after, like, they were saying something where she made a comment about her brother dying or something, and then she made a comment about her father. Like, I could understand after she's done it a couple of times with certain things, but this was like the first time she actually like brought something about herself up, and Diana was already on the defensive, which to me means like she didn't like her. And just like Garcelle said about Crystal, no matter what Sutton was going to say, you were going to say she was that girl. And I think it was the same thing with Diana. No matter what she was going to say,
I think what happened with Diana, I think she just walked in on Sutton having a fight and seeing, oh, she's like a confrontational person, like the whole group's against her, and then that she just never dropped that idea. She might just not have
liked her. Well, no, I mean, some people you just don't like, and no matter what they say, it just rubs you the wrong way. And I think that's who Sutton was to her at the time, and she tried to like her, but I just don't think she ever clicked with her.
And then they talk about the whole like the liability comment and the protecting them.
Which I think they had good points on that because...
Well, Crystal says that Brenna, Erica, Dorit, and Kyle protect each other more than even Garcelle and Sutton protect each other.
Yeah, well, Garcelle said, I've never had to usher my friend out because they were too drunk out of a party and you were afraid of what they were going to say or do. Like, I've never had to do that to Sutton. So how is she a liability? Like, I think that it is true. There's a double standard for
those four,
to everybody else. And I don't... And they're the ones that are constantly pointing it out, like, oh, how are you doing this and why is she doing... You guys really to take a look at themselves. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. And Sutton did say that the whole reason she brought the Elton John party up was simply because of the sauce, which I think is so crazy that the whole, like, the first fight, the origin fight of this whole scene is back from the sauce.
But the stupid sauce. Yeah, or bolognese sauce or whatever he makes.
Yeah, whatever it is. Which I'm sure he makes the sauce every time now, and he's like, damn, that's stupid sauce.
But the sad part is they show the clip of Lisa Rinna saying, like, I would have really loved to tell Harry Hamlin that you loved the sauce.
Just lie and tell him.
No, but the sad part is Garcelle says, but when you gave it to me, I said thank you. Like, and I really appreciate it.
Because how often?
And she said, yes, you did. That's the thing that's like, so you did, but like...
She wanted her to go home, eat it, and then text her again and say, now that I've eaten it, I loved it again.
But no, but that's the thing. She didn't say that. Like, she should have said, I would have loved you. I would have loved it if you had called and said how much you enjoyed it or something, or that you loved it or something. She said you didn't say thank you. And she did say thank you.
Yeah.
So she's not accurate again.
But she did.
If they want to be picky with words.
He gave her the sauce because they ate it at that party.
Yes, and said it was
and
so good.
She told him to himself, which is like, yeah. And if Harry was really waiting on it, I'm gonna be honest, just lie to Harry and tell her that she said
he was.
Because here's my thing: how many times, if you get like, let's just say you came from a family dinner and and they gave you leftovers, and you came back and you brought them back home, are you really gonna remember after you eat it to text? I can't even like. I'll be cooking something. No, like when I get back to my phone in the living room, let me text you something while you're at work to remind you something. I forgot, I forget, and it's something like it's just maybe next time you saw them in person, you might say, mention
thank you again for that food. It was great, but like I don't think he was waiting on it either. I think it was just
really don't think he cared at all.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, but
I still think that's really, really funny.
Yeah, and Sutton touched on like why Elisa Renna like didn't like her because they were talking about that lunch they had and how funny it was and how everybody thought that lunch was going to be like,
a turning
point for them, and like it wasn't apparently because Lisa went right back to
the party.
That party at her house was like, crazy. So she said, you keep coming after me.
Well, because like Rena's like, I had a rough season overall.
Yeah. And she said,
but you only pick on me.
Yeah, and you keep coming for me even after filming is over on Instagram. You keep like, I don't know. And
well,
so she told her, I don't consider you a friend. And Lisa was like actually taken back by that. And I'm like, why would you think she'd consider you a friend? You're like, bash her every chance you get. Like, I don't know.
And Sutton's like, Renna is beating her like a dead horse. And so bad that she was able to get glue and provide that glue to every school in LA. And she needs an apology from Renna. And Renna does apologize. My favorite is Dorit just doesn't get the reference. She's like, what about this glue? Because when you think about it, it's like technically when Sutton did say it, she's like, you didn't just beat me like dead like a horse so bad that I was able to make glue. Like she really dragged us. She's like, I was able to make glue and provide it to every single school in Los Angeles. And I think that's where like Dorit was like, wait, what? Like I think she was like another charity. I think that's where she completely like threw her off.
See, because there's a lot of stuff I think we don't see too. Because like Sutton said, she's like, I was a really good friend to you when your mom was in hospice. I called you every day.
I think that was
your
mom before filming. Right?
It was before filming. We didn't get that's the stuff. Like you don't get to see that stuff, so you don't see that. Like she was obviously a very good friend to her during a time when she really needed it. So the fact that you're going to use your mother's death to say this is why you were so abusive to her, it's like so. Now it's even more bizarre to me once she said that. And she admitted that, yes, she did call me. She kept in touch with me and, all that kind of stuff. So it's like so weird that like she would take it out on her like that.
And then Andy says that he spoke with Renna about her social media, which, listen, I don't see everything. Because like he did say, you post it, you delete it. So it is kind of hard to keep up with it. But if it's that bad that like your boss is coming to speak to you about, your social media. Because when you think about it,
times she was bad.
Like a normal person who has a job, like, they should probably be a little bit careful with their social media. But like they have to be careful with it. Like really when you think about it, because like it is kind of part of their job. Like obviously, a normal person would have to be like, oh, let me make sure I don't post stuff about work or things like that. But like,
yeah, fans were saying that she needs to be put on pause or something. And she's like,
sure, put me on pause.
Like, like she thinks it's funny, but it's not because a lot of the stuff she says, we were reading some of them, they aren't like, she was calling Sutton sluttin', and I'm like, there's no need for that, but I don't know why.
Yeah, and she's like, well, because I'm impulsive, but she's going to get better. No offense, Renna, but you're like, what did I just say? We said she's going into her 60s or she is 60. Mm-hmm. I mean, like,
somebody should be.
It's time to get better now.
Somebody should be monitoring her social media.
Yeah, you don't have like a social media manager or anything. Yeah, well, I will say, like post reunion, it's just been that daughter Amelia at these like fashion shows now because she did say I was going to stop posting, but then she comes back and she does post about Beverly Hills. But that's all it's been is this daughter at specifically the Yeezy fashion shows, which always so funny to me. And then somehow Crystal ends up getting it back to her in her dark comment.
Yeah,
I don't even know how she got that, but she did.
They said something about
they were talking about I think
the feeling or something. I was saying
no, they were talking about microaggressions.
Oh, they were saying with Lisa. They were saying to her when she says, I can't have a fight with Garcelle without everybody assuming I'm being racist, which is true. I get it. Why can't you fight with her the same way you can fight with, say, Sutton and not have a problem with it? Like, why not call them, she's racist against Southern people or whatever? It's just, they automatically.
Well, I will say Southern is not a race. That is.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like,
no, I know
that you're, picking on a particular group,
Southern, yeah.
a particular group, but have you say it. But she says, but the minute I come for her or start to fight with her, I'm racist or something.
I think it's I think there's just like a select group of, not like, I wouldn't even call them housewife fans. Like, they are trolls, because I think the same people that are going to just randomly just try to find drama anywhere where they'll be like, where there is no reason for either of them to be like, oh, Renna's being racist because she's fighting with Garcelle. I think it's more like that same group that's picking on, then that's probably turns around and is leaving those racist comments for Garcelle's son. I think it's that same group that are just overtly toxic and are just going to, I think they want to be on Housewives. That's what I think these fans are, who will say these things and try to cause drama. I think they think like, oh, I could be a producer. Let me try to stir up drama on social media so that it takes its shape on Housewife. Oh, Cooper's playing with toys now.
Yeah, he's looking for something to bite.
To chew on. I know. That's what I said. I woke up this morning.
You're like a baby that needs a binky, my boy.
I woke up this morning and he was chewing on that toy, his little pride flag toy, and then he was chewing on my sweatshirt string, and then he has springy toys that he was chewing on. I'm like, okay, Koopy.
What's going on with you, boy? Do you need a chewy toy?
He should not be teething. He's 7.
There's teething?
Oh, you're scaring his feet. But I think they end up bringing, they talk about the microaggressions and they end up bringing it. I think Kyle mentions about her with the charity last year with that. And I think then it's like Crystal slips in that comment, and which I will say, like, they, Kyle, like, I'm all thrown off now. Kyle is like, well, will not let Crystal have this comment at all.
She refuses. She really won't.
And Andy does eventually be like, okay, you got to stop, because you're talking about the dark comment and she's talking about the jacket, which I'm kind of grateful that he did, because I really don't think they're ever going to see eye to eye on this situation. So I think it's just like, you just got to drop it and move on, because you're really never. And listen, if Crystal does stay another season, I think she has to drop it, because if you're gonna, it's like to have 3 seasons now where it's the same issue for you, people are going to get bored and not want you back for a 4th one. Like, I think a 3rd one, if you can come back and you drop that and you give new drama something different, I think you'll do fine. I think
Crystal
probably like
should come back and be like a fun time Crystal, because
I think
she's too serious.
I thought that's what she was going to be this season, because I think
she's saying the same thing that everybody's saying, that she's being too guarded, too watched.
And well, that was season 1. She said that, and I felt like I think she held the end of her season 1 party, and I feel like, oh, okay, that seems like a fun time Crystal, and I thought that's what we were gonna get, but then she got hung up on this comment, and she will not drop it now.
So not fun time Crystal.
Yeah, I don't know. And then they go on another break, and my favorite is they're interlacing it with one of those big black cars pulling up, and it's a super, super dramatic music, and then they open the door. And you just see Kathy Hilton's little slippers pop out. But then the music's like
fluffy robe.
It's like really upbeat and positive in her like little robe and everything. Yeah.
And then she gets in her room and she whips out her tequila. Casamigo. Oh, no, not
Casamigos.
Oh, what is it? Casa something.
Uh-oh.
Casa Rey? Casa del Rey? I think it's Casa del Rey.
You keep guessing. Kathy Hilton. Tequila.
I think it's Casa del Rey.
I love it. It actually comes up Kathy Hilton tequila drama before you can even Casa del Sol.
Casa del Sol. I knew it was something like that. Yes. A sun, a ray, or something like that.
You were more closer with Casamigos.
Yeah.
Sadly. And that looks like we're gonna have next week is Kathy. Well, technically, he said at the end, he said that they're gonna do one more package, so they're gonna talk about probably one more thing. They're probably gonna talk about I think Erica and her legal issues.
Maybe.
And then I think the rest is gonna be Kathy. That's what my guess is.
Or they may talk about Brenna before Kathy or something like that. But it's interesting because you do see, like we were saying, I think we said it amongst ourselves though. Like you do see Kathy saying to Lisa Rinna, "Oh, you don't remember saying, 'You go, girl.' Yeah, you're right. You're preaching to the choir." Well, yeah, but I don't know if we mentioned it on here.
If we did, yeah.
But like, you just knew. Like, I'm sorry, you just knew there was no way that Lisa just stood there and just listened to her say all this stuff. I mean, no, you had to have said something because she was so hyped up there was no way she was not like.
Yeah, somebody hyping her up.
Yeah, there's just no way. There's just no way.
Also, we should add, Andy did confirm there is absolutely zero footage of Kathy Helter that night. Yeah. He said at BravoCon, zero footage. Absolutely nothing at all to find. So it's really Rinna's word.
Yeah, one person's word against another. So
we'll have
I just feel Kathy's story sounds a little more plausible and
I even
believable.
Saw
She's not denying that she didn't say things that were wrong and stuff. So that's what makes me, Can
I pull you? I want that stupid spaghetti that we cannot find anywhere. That pasta. Those two little spicy pasta that we make. I want that so bad right now.
Yeah, well, we can't find those
noodles.
find
that damn noodles anywhere.
There's a noodle shortage over here in the East Coast.
But just of one specific noodle. They have every other noodle. And every time for the last month that we've gone there, it's looked exactly the same, the shelves. Sorry. I just, I want to be you for a second.
Oh, no, I'm thinking about food and lunch. Don't you kid yourself.
No, but I'm thinking about those noodles specifically.
I've been refraining myself.
I'll have my other pasta, I guess.
Blurting out about food.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it in. I've been thinking about that this whole time, and I'm like, oh, I really would love that right now, but no. I'm also thinking that we gotta turn the air back on because I'm kind of sweating.
Well, you are under a blanket. I mean, I'm not.
I know, but it's not even my legs. Like my upper body is sweating. Okay. I mean, the legs are sweating too, but the upper body.
Okay, well then you should.
We're gonna shut it down
and hit the button.
We'll be back. Well, no, you can't say hit the button right now. We have to tell them what they have to do. They have a list of things they have to do. They have a to-do list. Here's your to-do list. Well, hold on, one more thing before I give you to do this. Next week is the finale of Beverly Hills, and they're done. But we're gonna do OC until OC either comes back or New Jersey comes back too. I don't think the BravoCon. Yeah, they were so far on the stage.
Separate ends of the stage. They were.
And I will say, BravoCon, props to you for putting Melissa Gorga, pun intended right now, on display as much as you could, because you were just lighting that fire under Teresa, and I know they did that.
Oh, the one we watched last night was priceless. What was that? With
Mystery Door.
Mystery Door. They had
Caroline
Manzo and Teresa opposite sides of the stage, not too far from each other to be honest, but they were on the different sides, and they were doing a squash the beef. And was it the first one that came up?
It was the only squash the beef he tried to do that episode.
Oh,
he just did that.
It
one.
Was Teresa and Caroline stood up like Caroline stood up like she would have done it, and Teresa just would not even get up at first.
She just sat there,
and she just made a comment that you don't have this kind of time, and Teresa agreed. So he was actually like, okay, so they both agreed that they are not squashing this beef at this time. Oh, Teresa said you don't have enough security. So it was very interesting.
I think Caroline could take her though.
Yeah. It'd be a good, interesting fight, but
I think they should, like those YouTubers that do the boxing matches. I think they should do those too. Or something, but like a verbal one, I think. No, like you restrain them so they can't actually fist fight, but like a verbal fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody could like animate like punches, blows every time they would say one into them.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Here's your to-do list. So what you're gonna do? You could either give us a 4 or a 5. A 4 if you think we need to improve. A 5 if you know we're going to improve. And if you say that it's the computer or the audio podcast quality, then guess what? You can just give the 5 right now because we're taking the store. We're taking the damn store.
We're taking the store.
We're taking the whole Apple store. No, we're going to take the computer to the Apple store. They're going to inspect it, tell us how much money we owe them to fix it. So you can either pay for the computer or something like that. Or I don't know. Or maybe you're a pod.
I looked away for a minute to look at Cooper, and she's talking about someone paying for the computer.
If they're saying if they want us to improve it so bad, they can pay for the computer to get fixed. Or maybe they're one of those podcasts, that like how like those some of them have like the overheads, the brands, and they have to go record in the studio.
Just ignore her, please.
Stop. You can, if you're one of those, if you're like a manager and you want to assign us onto your podcast brand deal, you can do that because then we can just go to your studio and you do everything for us. But I don't want that because I like editing podcasts.
Please stop asking for money.
But if you want to give it, it's more than welcome.
Oh my God.
I don't know where. Oh, Cooper almost just slipped. Okay. And then you should also subscribe to our podcast and turn on the notifications so you know when we post. And since this isn't a YouTube video, you should go back to our old YouTube videos and give it a thumbs up. But don't give it a thumbs down. Instead, leave a comment. Tell us how we can improve. And once again, do not say the computer. She's over here drumming the lap so that Cooper will come and sit with her. And
he's going to inspect the laptop.
Oh, our Andor episode went up on Friday, and our weekly podcast goes up every Monday where we talk about the shows that we watched separately throughout this week. We spin a wheel, and we talk about the news. Oh my God, he's so loud. Oh my god, his tongue a little bit's out. I'm sorry. But I want to say thank you guys so much for listening. But you're probably not watching. Maybe you're in the future
He's
watching them.
Too. Look at him.
Thank you, Goopy. And I think that's all. All right, you could say your line.
Oh, hit the button.
She wasn't ready for that.
No, I was too busy.